The Flavian Amphitheater, or more commonly known as the Colosseum, is an ancient structure built by Emperor Vespasian of the Flavian dynasty during 70 AD to show how devoted he was to the Roman people and the faith he had in their success. The amphitheater is located in the center of the city of Rome, Italy, and has been standing for 2,000 years. It is a large oval-shaped structure which allowed them to see the event clearly, made from mainly stone and concrete. The floors were made out of tiles and the pillars were built from tuff and tabran, which is a form of limestone. It was a freestanding structure, which meant that it did not have to be dug into any hillsides for support and could stand on its own. The structure is 190 by 155 meters and held gladiator fights, wild animal displays, theatrical entertainment, executions, religious ceremonies, mock sea battles, and famous Roman victories. It was estimated that 50,000 people and 1 million animals were killed in the Colosseums. Now you might be wondering what mock sea battles were. Romans spilled water into the Colosseum to simulate sea battles. This was supposed to train slaves to row and maneuver ships for later times of war. During the times of ancient Rome, they waged war and conquered as many countries as possible. The Roman Empire was big in honor and glory, believing that they were superior amongst other civilizations. While conquering many other countries, they captured slaves and brought them to the Colosseums, where they were trained to fight as gladiators for their lives and the entertainment of Roman spectators.
Even though the Colosseum was free for everyone, there was a seating chart for each social class. The seating chart in the Colosseum was a reminder to every class of their status in society that amplified throughout their daily lives. People who were of lower social class, such as slaves, freemen, had to stand at the topmost tier of the Colosseum, so they did not have the privilege to see the events at the bottom as clearly. The second level was for the plebeians, otherwise known as the middle class. Most of them were workers, farmers, and artisans. The seat that was closest to the arena floor, which is the first level, was reserved for the emperor, senators, including the patricians or rich families, so they had the privilege to see the event clearly. The people who were in the arena either devoted their life to fighting, or they were captured as slaves and were forced to fight. Most of the fights did not end in death, since the crowd would yell their opinions on mercy. Then, the emperor would decide on the majority of the audience, then place the final order. This brought a sense of togetherness in the crowds, since they would all be gathered in the same place and focus on one event as a whole. It was supposed to be a bonding experience between the social classes, yet a reminder that the emperor would always be higher in deciding the final outcome.
It was about 2000 years ago when the Colosseum was first being constructed, and to this very day it is still recognizable as one of the famous classical buildings in the world. Despite some of its parts being broken or lost, but the structure is still standing. The Colosseum is important in the modern world today because it symbolizes the Roman Empire on had done, just as how the Emperor Vespasian wanted to be known as. He had given it as a gift to the Romans because of how much he believed they would achieve greatness. Then, with that in mind, they had. In all of the Roman Empire time, it had conquered most of the Europe countries including Italy, England, France, Greece, and much more. Though the Colosseum isn't just a great monument now, it was an even greater one in ancient time. The Colosseum were important in their time of rule because they would train their warriors, gladiators, and slaves for their future battle. It was also a place where religious ceremony would occur to strengthen their belief and a place where they held execution people watched as a reminder not to disobey the law of Rome. It was a place where they looked toward the people as one to help decide present outcome, and where they remind in the end to look toward the emperor. The monument in itself is a representation of the greatness in Rome and what Rome stood for, their power. The greatest and the most important event in the Rome daily life revolved around the Colosseum. And because it was such a big part of their everyday life, they were reminded of greatness, battle, and social status each day. It increased their practice in obeying those three virtues and surrounded their life in time of Roman Empire around them. Together they fought battles for entertainment and glory, but always remember that no matter how much power they had, the emperor was the one highest above them all.